All right, you ready for another travel story leadership lesson? I get a few of these. I feel like I learn more in the airport about leadership than I do at any organization that I work with. But you're watching the Servant Minded Leadership channel, and I hope that you get as much joy, I guess, out of these as I do in telling them. I was flying, I think I was going to Phoenix. I know I was going through Dallas-Fort Worth fairly late at night. My flight landed about 9:30, and for whatever reason, every time I go through Dallas-Fort Worth, I feel the incredible need for French fries. I don't know what it is about that airport, but I always am looking for French fries. And so as I waited for my next flight, I decided to trudge my way through the airport in search of French fries. It was about 9:50 when I walked up to Wendy's, and the Wendy's was supposed to close at 10. We were about 10 minutes till. And as I'm walking up, I see someone walking out of the line saying all they've got left is French fries. And I'm thinking, well, look at that. How serendipitous. This is fantastic. I get into the line, and I haven't been there for about 30 seconds when the young woman behind the counter calls out, I'm going to call it rudely, and says, "We're closed!" Because I knew that they only had French fries, I kind of paused for a second, thinking, well, maybe she was trying to just say, like, we don't have anything, because I'd just been told 5 seconds before that all they had left was French fries. Seeing my slight hesitation, and with even more attitude, she said, "We're closed. We don't have any more food. You can leave now." Now, I thought about saying, all I was looking for was some French fries. I hear that you have those. But something inside of me said, there's just no use in doing that. And so I walked away, looking for alternative French fries. It's about 5 to 7 minutes later that I happened upon a TGI Fridays there in the terminal. And I walked up, and the TGI Fridays also closed at 10. In fact, the girl at the podium indicated she didn't even have a piece of paper in front of her, to take down my stuff. She said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I was wondering if it was possible to get some French fries to go." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I think we can do that." And so she walks to the back. Not sure if she was going to go give the order to somebody, not sure if she was taking care. I had no idea, but I just kind of waited. And I hung out by the little podium there, and as I waited, the bartender calls over, because that's the one thing that's still open, and she, "Hey, are you being taken care of? Do you need something to drink? I'm being taken. I think she's got it, but man, thank you so much. I appreciate that." And wouldn't you know it, just a few minutes later, the girl comes out, and I'm going to guess, I don't know, but she comes out with a tray of French fries, and I think there's like half a chicken nugget in there, and I think what she did is she just scraped out the last bits of the fryer because they were closing the kitchen down. And she said, "Here, no, don't even worry about it. Enjoy your fries." And I thought to myself as I walked away, the difference of experience that I had between the two locations. Both locations I encountered two people. Only one of them spoke at Wendy's, but the other appeared to have the same sentiment. One was rude and abrasive. The others were welcoming and helpful. And it is my sincere opinion that most often the way a customer is treated by staff of a company is almost always the way that staff is being treated by their supervisors. The way a leader treats their internal clients, the staff, is most often the way that same staff treats the external clients. I don't know who the manager was at either location, the Wendy's or the TGI Fridays. What I do know is one provided me with excellent service and left me wanting to return. In fact, you are now getting a shout out of TGI Fridays customer service at Dallas-Fort Worth, because they didn't let the 3 minutes left between now and closing time stand in the way of great customer service. And it wasn't even a Friday. The point here, I'm not getting paid by TGI Fridays, certainly not being paid by Wendy's. The point that I want to make as I just relate this experience is that as leaders, our actions don't just impact us, they don't just impact our staff, they don't just impact the immediate circle, they have a ripple effect. I wasn't the only one in that line at Wendy's. There are numerous people that had a bad experience. Now, is it possible that that's just one rogue staff member? Well, it's possible. But even if that's the case, why were they put at the counter? Why were they aligned with that position? Why do they still have a position if they don't align with the culture that is being created at that location? Is the culture that's being created, take the order, move on, let's go, stop, let's make it happen, come on, go, 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 we ain't got time for people, we ain't got time, just do it? Or is the culture helpful, embracing, with a desire to serve? I don't know, but I can tell you my experience would suggest that there is a need for leadership training at least one of those restaurants. And the other one, well, trained or not, that manager has created a culture that had people wanting to help. So thank you to TGI Fridays for making my evening that night and sending me away with a basket of French fries. They were delicious and I enjoyed every single one of them. And to anyone out there that says, you know, my leadership, it doesn't make that much of a difference, I would tell you, even at a fast food restaurant in an airport, it is making an impact. And you never know, you might just get featured in a video. Been a little bit longer. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Servant-Minded Leadership channel. Our goal is to empower leaders to change the world. And you might not think that's possible, but I hope today's story has illustrated how just a little bit of leadership can have a ripple effect. And how just a little bit of absence of effective leadership will have the same. Remember, you are making an impact on your team. The only question is not, am I impacting them? But rather, is it for positive or is it for negative? Thank you for joining us today. You're watching the Servant-Minded Leadership channel, where we are empowering leaders to change the world.